ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second Canto, 5th chapter, text number 23. Lord Brahma is explaining how the creation is performed. All the Lord is transcendental to the modes of nature, but he accepts Maya and then he creates with the help of the potency of time. So he described that first it is time which creates disturbance or imbalance in the modes of nature. And then when the imbalance is created, then according to the svabhava, the inherent nature of the modes, the transformation occurs. And then comes the karma of the individual person. So depending upon how much is the influence of karma, how much is the influence of time, and how much is the influence of the svabhava, different variety comes into existence. And then how the modes are mixed with each other. So there is time which itself is manifest, although it is one, but there are various divisions and it becomes modified in the form of past, present and future. And then there is matter which is functioning under the influence of time and svabhava, its own nature. And then we have the living beings who have material body, and that functions under the influence of time and svabhava and karma of the living entity. So basically these are the three things which are existing in this material world. And in between there is a lot of other variety. So that he is explaining how from inert matter this variety comes into existence by the influence of time, svabhava and karma. So in this verse he says, Mahatastu vikurvanad raja sattvaku brinhitat tamah pradhanastva bhavad dravya jnana kriyatmakaha. So the first element which came into existence was Mahatattva, because it is a great element. And it is the first element, so it is called Mahat, which means big, basically. Although it is subtle element, but it is the great element, because from that everything becomes manifest. It is also called Pradhan, because Pradhan also means chief or great. So then when this Mahat undergoes transformation and it is predominated by Raja and Sattva, then the next element comes into existence which has Tamas as its predominant feature. Tamay pradhanastva bhavad, and it contains three characteristics in it: dravya, jnana and kriyatmaka. Dravya means matter, jnana means knowledge or awareness, and kriya means action. So there are three modes and there are three characteristics of them. We have knowledge which is related to sattva, and action which is related to rajas, and then there is inertness which is matter, that is related to tamas. So the next element which came into existence from Mahatattva, and this element is called Ahankar, which will be described in the next verse. In this verse the name is not given, just says that something appeared and it was predominated by tamas. So that's why when people are influenced by ego, then they are in tamas. But it has three functions, and this will come in the next verse. Because Ahankar is of three, for the three divisions. From this comes the senses, which function, perform action of knowledge and work, and there are material elements, and there is also mind which senses things and get knowledge of objects. So Dravya Gyan Kriyatmaka, that its nature consists of these features. Vikurvanat Kaladevhir Vikriyamanat. So when it underwent modification, Raja Sattva Bhyam Upringhatat Vardhitat iti. And it was influenced by Rajas and Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. Mahatattva Trigunatva api Kriya Gyan Shaktitvat Rajasatva Adhikyam तथा भूतात महत सकाशात तम प्रधान पदार्थ विशेष कश्चिद अभवत्. So Mahatattva has, although it has all the three modes in it, but two things are prominent in Mahatattva. One is the power of action, which is from Rajas, and other is the knowledge. So sometimes Mahatattva is also called Buddhi Tattva, or that which has knowledge in it. And it also has action. So when action is predominant, then it has the name Sutra, Sutratma. And when knowledge is predominant, then it is called Mahatattva. So from this, the third thing which came into existence was predominated by tamas. Yadva yaityaadhyarya parena saityanena yojitavyatvat dravyam adhibhutam jnanam adhidevam kriyadhyatmam tadatmakas tritiya karanavityate. And this new element which came into existence, it had the three features of adhibhut, adhidev and adhyatma. So Adhibhut refers to the material elements, Adhideva refers to the senses, and Adhyatma refers to the action, the agent. So Ahankara iti prokto vikurvan samabhuta tridha vaikarikas tejasascha tamsascha iti yadvidha. Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Ritika. And then this element which came, it was called Ahankar. And it had three divisions, which were called Vaikarika, Tejasa and Tamas. That means Ahankar in the mode of Sattva, passion and Tamas. So three divisions, and these three divisions are related with Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti. Ahankar in the mode of ignorance, it gives rise to the material elements. So that is Dravya, means substance. All the material elements beginning from sky to the earth, these five elements, they become manifest from Ahankar in Tamas. And Ahankar in Rajas gives the working senses which perform function. and ahankar and sattva gives rise to mind and the presiding deities, devas. So that is related with knowledge. So this is the meaning of Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti. They became manifest. Tridha iti Traividyamaha Vaikarika Satvika. Vaikarika means in the mode of goodness. Taijaso Rajasa. And Taijasa means in the mode of passion. Yad Vidha Yasya Bheda. These are the three divisions. Dravya Shakti Ityadini Pratilomyena Trayanam Lakshanani. So Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti, they are related with Tamas, Rajas and Sattva respectively. Dravyashu Mahabhutashu Akashadishu Shaktir Utpadan Samartham Yasya Se. So why it is called Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti? Because this has the power, Shakti, to produce the substance or produce knowledge through the senses, and work and perform activities, Kriya, and also get knowledge. That's why they have their names like this. Evam Kriyashu Indriyasu Tatha Jnaneshu Deveshu Shaktir Yasya Se. So Kriya Shakti means through the senses one can perform activities, and Jnaneshu means through the presiding deities one gets knowledge through the senses. He Prabho Naradat Pamatra Prabhavasi Sarvam Janasi Evityarthi. And Brahma is telling Narada as Prabhu, which means that he already knows all this. As earlier also Brahma has said that you have asked this question only for the benefit of others. Otherwise it is already known to you. अत्र साम्यावस्थं गुणत्रयम् एव प्रधानम् तस्य कालेन सत्त्वांशस्य उद्रेको महत्तत्वं रजांशस्य उद्रेको महत्तत्वभेदसूत्रतत्वं तमोंशस्य उद्रेको अहंकारत्वम् अतो अहंकार कार्येषु तामसम् आकाशादिकं बहु राजसं सात्विकं च अल्पम् एवं तदुपाधिकेषु जीवेषु अपि तामसाधिकम्. So he says that when the three modes are in balance, samyavastha, then it is called pradhan. And when by the influence of time there is increase in sattva, because imbalance means that the percentage of one of them is increased. Because when they are balanced means each one has equal amount of percentage, 33 1/3. So when they are equal, they cannot influence each other. They are completely balanced, so no work occurs. So what time does is that it accumulates one of them more in one place and another more in another place. So then one becomes permanent and others become less, then activity starts. Then that starts performing its function, and the others also help him to do the act. So if sattva is predominant, then it is called mahattattva, and therefore it is called the intelligent element or buddhi tattva. When rajas is predominant, then it is called sutra tattva. In 11th canto it is described, sutratma, Krishna says. And when tamas is predominant, then it is called ahankar. So basically they are coming from pradhan only, but if you define it linearly the way it is defined, then it is said like this, that first comes mahattattva and then comes ahankar. But really speaking, they are all coming from mool prakriti. So there is sutratma, there is mahattattva, and there is ahankar. is divided in three, which has Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Gyan Shakti. So Ahankar is predominated by Tamas, and therefore it says Ato Ahankar Karyeshu Tamsam Akashadikam Bahu Rajasam Satvikam Cha Alpam. That activities which are performed by Ahankar out of ego, then they have very little Rajas and Sattva in them, and Tamas is more, which means the material elements. So that means the activities which are performed out of Tamas or Ahankar, they will have more Dravya Shakti. There will be more manifestation of matter in it. That is the significance in this. And evam tadupadhikeshu jiveshu api tamasadhikyam. Therefore the jivas also, which have more upadhi of Ahankar, they will also have more tamas in them. तामसादपि भूतादेर विकुर्वाणाद अभून नभ तस्य मात्रा गुण शब्दो लिंगम यद दृष्टि दृश्य. Then he says that from tamas, Ahankar, so there are three divisions. So from the Ahankar, which is predominated by tamas, the first element which comes is the sky, and tasya matra guna shabdo, its quality is sound, and also its matra, the subtle or the causal element, is also shabda. So basically sky first comes in the form of matra, it's called tanmatra. And from that comes sky, and that has the quality of sound. And lingam yad drashtri drishyaya, and it is understood from knowing, or in other sense one can infer with the help of the sound, the seer and the seen. What it means is that if somebody is not visible to you and he says that he is seeing some object, say a cow, so you hear the sound, and by hearing the sound you can infer that there is a person who is seeing the cow and there is an object which is being seen. So the seer and seen both can be inferred by hearing the sound. If someone is outside on the street and you are in the house and he says there is a cow here or there is a car, so by hearing the sound of the statement, although you don't see the car or the person who is speaking, you can make an inference only because of the sound. Because you don't see it, you don't taste, you don't touch, the other senses are not able to perceive such a person who is seeing. Therefore it says, Shabdo lingam yad drashtri drashaya, and it is the linga or instrument in inferring the person who is seeing things and what he is seeing. Both can be inferred from this. Bhutaderiti tamsasya visheshanam. Tamsadapi bhutade. So the elements, they are predominantly in the mode of ignorance. Therefore it is called tamsad bhutade, and they are in tamas. Nanu tamas ahankarat pratmam shabdo bhavti iti prasiddham. So he is raising a doubt that usually we hear that from ahankar, in the mode of ignorance, the first thing which comes out is the sound. And here it says that what comes out is the sky or the ether. So which one is true? Is it that the sound comes first and then there is appearance of sky, or is it sky first and then sound? So he puts this question that we have heard that first there is Shabda. Satyam satutasya navaso matra sukshmam rupam gunascha sadharano vyavartako dharma. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that you are right. Actually what comes out first is the Shabda Tanmatra, which is subtle form of the sky. You can say it is the causal sky. The quality of the sky is also called Shabda, sound, and its causal element, Shabda Tanmatra, is also called Shabda. So first it is the sound which comes into existence in the form of Tanmatra, subtle sound. Then comes sky, and then comes the gross sound which we can hear. This Tanmatra cannot be heard through our ears, but one can hear it through meditation, and one will be able to visualize it, realize it. Sabda dwara nabha utpadyate iti artha. And then from Sabda, the sky is born. And then sky has the quality of the sound. So if you hear sound, then by that you know that there is sky. Because without sky or ether, the Sanskrit word is akash. So it is not possible for sound to travel without it. Evameva sparsādishu api drashtavya. So this has to be seen everywhere, that the first thing which comes into existence is the causal element or tanmatra, and then comes the element and its quality. Because the quality is generated after the elements comes into existence, because it is inherent in it. So first there is the substance and then its quality, but before that is the causal element. Shabdasya lakshanam aha lingam iti. Then it defines the characteristic of Shabda. Puravrittesu paroksho api yo vasudeva dashrath adir drashta yascha tena drishya Krishna Ramadis tayor dvayor api yat lingam yaeva shabdo gyapake. So he says either something you hear from the history, itivritta, such as you may hear about Lord Krishna. So that hearing is only, you get knowledge only by the sound. There is no other way to know of something which has happened in the past. Or in the present, somebody is not in front of you and he is speaking, then his existence. So the existence of the speaker in the past or in the present, which is not directly perceivable to you with your eyes, is known only through the sound. That is the meaning of drashti drashya. Linga visheshanatvat yat shabdasya shandatvam. He is talking about the gender of this world. That yap is in neuter gender. Vayorapi vikurvanat kala karma svabhavate udapadyata tejo vai rupavat sparsha shabdavat. Then from the sky, the next element came in the air with the influence of Kala, Karma and Swabhava. These three influences are there in every transformation. They are not mentioned, but they must be understood. That everything happens by the influence of time, Swabhava and Karma. So then comes the air, and Navasoatha Vikurvanad Bhut Sparsha Guno Anila. That from the sky comes air which has the quality of sparsha or touch. Paran Anvayat Shabdavansha Prana Oja Saho Balam. And it also had the quality of the sky, which it inherits from the previous element. And this air, it is also called Prana, Oja, Saha and Bala. These are other names which are related to the breathing life air, and Oja is the power of the mind, and Saha of the senses, and Bala of the bodily strength. So the strength which we have in our mind, in our senses, in our body, it is because of the air. Therefore, air is considered as the powerful god. We have Hanuman, who is the Vayuputra and Bhim. So they are considered as powerful people because they are sons of air. Because if your air gets disturbed, then body loses strength. It cannot function, the muscles cannot function without proper air. Same with the mind and also the senses. Parasya navsa karanatvena anvayat sabdavansya vayu. So because of nabha or the sky, the air also has the quality of sound. Vayuscha lakshanam prano deha dharanam oja saho balani indriya mana shariranam patvani tesham heturit. So the characteristic of air is that it is the life air and therefore maintains the body, and it also gives strength to the senses, mind, and also to the body. This is the quality of air. Then Vayorapi Vikurvanat Kala Karma Swabhavate Udapadyat Tejo Vai Rupvat Sparsha Shabdavat. From Vayu, with the influence of Kala Karma and Swabhava, the next element came was fire, and it has the characteristic of form, touch and sound. Swato Rupavat Teja Vayu Navso Karan Bhuti or Anvayat Sparsha Shabdavat. So the specific characteristic of fire is the color. The word Rupa, although it is usually translated as form, but the proper translation here is color. That fire has the characteristic that it has color. Air and sky, they don't have color. So therefore you are able to see it, because you can only see something which has color. If you make an object colorless, then you don't see it. And what is colorless is that if light falls on it and it doesn't reflect, if it absorbs everything, then it will become colorless. So now they are working to make some dress which will be colorless. And if you put this dress on, then you will not be seen by anybody.
They have to put also the head inside. They have to put also all the head inside.
Yes. So in Tantra there are a lot of descriptions how to make some chemical ingredients, mix them together, and if you put them on your body, then you become invisible. So in science also they are experimenting like this. Because mainly they are doing it from the defense purposes, that they can put a layer on the fighter bomber planes and then they will become invisible and the radar cannot catch them. And they will go easily drop the bomb and come. But then any discovery is done like this, it comes into the market and people use it for different purposes. So the principle of color is that when something falls on an object, then it reflects particular wavelength and others are absorbed. And that's why we are able to see it. So Rupa is translated both as form, because only objects which have form, then they have color. Air and sky, they are formless. And they are also colorless. So you cannot see them. So this is the specific characteristic of fire, besides the earlier two qualities. Tejasastu vikurvanad asid ambho rasatmakam रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्च अम्भो घोषवच्च paranvayat. Then he says that from fire the next element comes is water, and water has taste in it. Besides that, it also has color, although we say that water is colorless, but actually water also has some color. That's why we are able to see it. You may give it a name and you may say that its color is colorless, but actually anything which you can see with your eyes has some color in it. White color. And Rupvat Sparsvachambho Ghosvacha Paranvayat. It has color and it has touch and sound and also taste. So sound also travels through it. Only question which can be raised is that sky is supposed to be the medium for sound, but if you create vacuum in a tube, then sound cannot travel in it. Because according to the modern science, sound travels in air, and if there is no air, if you make a room completely vacuum and you produce sound in one corner, then nothing will go to the other side, because there is no medium for it to travel. The light can travel, but sound will not travel. So how it will be accommodated with this description? Because they say that sound travels in sky also, which means without any other elements. It also travels in earth, water, air, fire, also in ether, according to the description of Bhagavatam and also according to Sankhya. So the element water, it has 4 qualities. Evam स्वतो रूपवत तेज वायु नवसो कारण भूति और अन्वयात स्पर्श शब्दवच्च एवं अंश है पृथिव्यास्य पर अन्वयाधिक्यात गुणाधिक्यम घोषा शब्द. So water has the characteristic of taste and also the sound. Ghosha means shabda. Then comes the next element. Visheshastu vikurvanad ambasho gandhavan bhut paranvayad rasa sparsha shabda rupa gunanvita. That from water, when it got transformed, the next element which came into existence was earth, which has smell. And along with smell, it has the previous four qualities of touch, taste, color, and sound. So this is how the material elements came into existence. This is the creation of ahankar in the mode of ignorance. So he made three divisions, and from these three divisions he has described the appearance of the five elements. And why they are called element? Because the word element is just a translation into English, but the real word which is used here, either they say Panchabhuta or they call them Tattva. So why only these five are accepted? Because they are related with the five senses. The analysis here is according to the human body, that we are able to sense five things without five senses. Either we sense something with our ear which we can hear, or from the eyes which have a color, or with the nose which has smell, or touch, or taste with the tongue. These are the five senses we have. And anything which can be sensed with one of these senses is given the name Tattva, element, or Bhut, Panchabhuta. So all the objects are Dravya, because he said Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Jnana Shakti. So all the Dravya means the substances which we are perceiving around us with our senses. They can be put into these five categories. So things like magnetism, electricity, gravitational force, where will they come? Because they don't talk about them. They have mentioned, but how you will classify them with which element? Because they are also existing around us. Electricity is there. So electricity you get a shock, or it is seen in the form of light, and it can cool something, make some movement. But you don't perceive electricity by itself unless you touch the wire and you get a shock. So it can be then classified something which is sensed with the twak or the skin by touch, the sense of touch. And then we have magnetic power. So they all have to be classified in one of these senses, because there is nothing more than five senses we have. So either you sense them with the help of some instrument, and then that instrument will be again related to one of the five senses we have. But there is no other way to sense even time. We sense it only through these five senses. So for that reason they have made 5 divisions, simplified. Otherwise there are so many elements, so many qualities, so many characteristics, different way of analyzing things. In Nyaya they analyze differently, they make 7 categories. Actually in Vaisheshika, in Nyaya they make 16. So in Bhagavatam or in Sankhya they have 25. And this is also Sankhya principle, which is very common, and you find it all over Bhagavatam being discussed. This is one of the most common style of analyzing. And all this analysis is being done so that we can understand how we are different from matter. The purpose behind all this is to know, because already in the beginning he said Dravya Karma cha Kalascha Subhavaji Evacha. There is Dravya, there is Karma, there is Kala, and there is Subhava. And then there is Jiva. So Jiva is separate from that. And he also explained how the Jiva is bound. So it says by the 3 modes. Karya Karana Kartritva Dravya Jnana Kriya Ashraya. That this Dravya, Jnana and Kriya, they are all bondage. So all this analysis is being done to recognize ourselves as separate from this, and also to recognize that beyond all this is the Lord. That is the whole purpose. So next he will define the appearance of, or the manifestation from mode of passion and goodness of Ahankara, which is not very long.